fixed. Mental health is a real thing. And if you're not taking care of yourself, then what are we doing?
So it's something called functioning depression. I know about it because I function in my depression. And we don't talk about, oh, I'm depressed, because we get up and we do all of the things. And so a lot of times it's easy to miss. And I think the same thing goes with domestic violence. You see a person showing up doing all of the things, so it's easy to miss.
Right.
So I want to actually dive into your story. How did you end up in it?
So I would say it kind of starting from like childhood. So when you growing up in our culture, black community, if they ain't beating you, they don't love you. That's the common thing. If they ain't beating you, they don't love you. So you see it in your family. You see people getting abused, and it's like that's the norm. It's the norm because if he ain't hitting me, obviously he don't really love me like that, because you don't really know what love is. So it kind of stemmed from what I've seen in my youth, and then there were certain issues, or like I would say I developed low self-esteem at one point, where there was certain people in the family where they would say certain things that they said certain things to me that just made me look at myself as less than.
Yes.
I didn't value myself. I didn't know who I truly was. So my identity was all jacked up. So when you meet someone and it's like an outcast, you meet an outcast. The outcast like, oh, he an outcast like I am. So hey, what's up? So you meet this person, but you don't really know what you're about to get into. So you think they the greatest person in the world, like they your friend, they there for you, they helping you, like whatever you need, they're that person.
Yes.
However, it's a trap. You don't know it's a trap because you just like, oh, he got my back. Like, you going through stuff with family, friends, whatever. He there. So he like, I got your back. It's me and you against the world type of thing. But then you start to find yourself secluded a little bit more. It's all about him now. It's just this, and that. So then you get into this point where now I'm in this relationship. And he don't start out hitting you because, we doing all the good things. But one day, it just came into, he pushed me. And the first thing was, oh, you need to go. But then I'm like, well, maybe I said something, because I ain't gonna lie, I felt like my mouth could be a little slick. So I'm like, well, maybe I said something wrong. So, it'll be all right. But then it turned into other things where it was, I'm sorry, I would never do that. That's not me. I don't do this type of stuff. That's the usual we hear. I'm not that person. But as time went on, more incidents started happening, and it just kept on. And I'm just like, okay, I kind of felt stuck, because at this point it's like, well, who gonna really want to be with me? Because I didn't look at myself as a beautiful person. I really thought I was ugly. I just didn't see myself. So I'm like, okay, well, nobody else ain't going to be with me. They say things to you that make you feel like, okay, nobody wants you. Like, who are you or whatever. So I just, took that on as my identity. Like, nobody really liked me like that. So let me just be with this person. Why? Because he here. And it was some other challenges that I faced with. I'm not going to tell you a whole story. I got to get the book. So I'm just saying.
Well, it sounds like you were dealing with a narcissist. I think a lot of times we talk about people having narcissistic behaviors and personalities. And it sounds like an abuser is like a top dog narcissist.
Yeah.
Wow.
They feel like they're in control.
Yeah.
So my question is, how did you cope with that with having children? Because at that time your children were much younger. How did you cope with that with having children?
So my kids really didn't get to see everything or experience, like they didn't see everything, but they knew something was going on. So me coping with it was really just hiding it from them. I hid it from a lot of people. Like you were saying earlier, the smiles and the, all the accolades and all that type of stuff, doing all of that type of stuff, like to show like, oh, we good over here.
Right.
Painting a picture, like doing all that other stuff, like, okay, I'm good. But I would try to, not let them see things. If there were like different altercations, of course, like rooms would be closed or it would be done where they can't really see it, they weren't around. But I just, tried to act like it didn't happen. Multiple times I tried to act like, something didn't happen. If anything, I would change, like, put on a little makeup if I needed to, change certain clothes, wear certain things that would prevent the marks and stuff like that from being shown. So it was tough, but I was blinded.
Yeah.
I was
You
really
just kinda
blinded.
were coping with it at that time.
Yeah.
So, what advice would you give? Because somebody out there may be listening that may be in the same similar situation. First and foremost, you are beautiful. Don't let anybody tell you that.
Yes.
Thank you.
I said before you out the door. That's number one. But what advice can you give to someone who is coming up in your similar situation that feels like, man, I might not be attractive. I may be weighing too much. I may not be to the standard of society, because these kids are cruel. They will crack on you by the littlest of things. What advice can you give to that young child, hey, that may be in a similar situation where they feel like they're not attractive enough for somebody?
Okay, so I don't want to be all religious, but I ain't even say religious, but let me just say this. What helped me was to have a relationship with the Lord, and he revealed to me who I was. He put me in the mirror and told me to look at myself. And he said, see what I see.
Yes.
And that's when I began to see, oh, I'm not ugly. I'm not too big. I'm not too small. Like, I am somebody. So it took for me building that relationship with the Lord and then getting around the right people. Because when you around people that may not think highly of themselves, of course they're going to make you feel like, oh, you think you this, you think you that. And, you know, they're going to make you feel away. So it really took me building a relationship with the Lord and then really getting to learn myself. See who I was, because you could say I was kind of a people pleaser. Wanted to make sure, okay, this person happy, that person happy, that type of stuff. So me, I had to really see who I was. And that mainly meant spending time with the Lord and, you know, reading the word and seeing who am I.
If you want to know what type of person you are, look at 3 people that you surround yourself with. Never forget that. You know, so your book, Abused But Not Broken, the title in itself speaks value, right? When did you realize, you know what, enough is enough?
Okay, so it was a near death experience. Like, I knew it was time, but you know how you know it's time to go, but you just ain't, you like for me, and I'm gonna say what most people don't say. I never told anybody, like family members, I never said anything like that because I knew that I wasn't ready to leave. And I knew I was gonna go back. So what made me really, like, I'm like, okay, you get to that point where you're fed up, but when a man have a gun to your face, at this point I'm like, okay, Lord, now I know it's for real this time. It's time to be done. So it took that for me to say, this ain't it.
Hold on now.
So I'm listening to your story, and I hear the beginning and I hear the end. How did it evolve to the fact that he felt comfortable enough that he was no longer your safe place? Like, how did it get there that he felt like I can pull a physical weapon, no longer my hand, no longer my voice, but a physical weapon? How do you think it evolved to that?
By me not saying nothing, not telling nobody, just dealing with it behind closed doors, protecting him.
And I think that also goes back to him just not being happy with himself.
Right.
Because what can a person do that bad for them to say, you know what, I want to put a gun in your head and kill you or something like that? It's just, like you said earlier, you're not happy with yourself.
And you know the crazy part about that is everybody has a boiling point. And when they get to that point, there's no telling what that person is capable of doing.
Right.
The person that you thought you knew is somebody totally different from what they're showing you. You know, I give the analogy, you know, there's this young lady that passed away about a couple months ago who I knew personally. And she was in a very abusive relationship. I mean, she hit her boyfriend with the car. I mean, it got really, really bad. And I saw her on social media, and she said, you know, if anything ever happens to me,
I remember that story.
this is the gentleman that did it.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And, you know, it took everything in me not to text her because, you know, we're always taught that don't get in people's business.
Right.
But to your point, when they put it on social media, it becomes everybody's
It's
business.
business, yes.
But, you know, I didn't say anything to her. I kind of let her go because I was going to tell her, hey, you know, come to the station, let me talk to you, you know. Because I had the chief of police here with me, who I'm really good friends with, Frank Adderley. And I'm talking to the chief. I say, Chief, you know, this man's on video kicking the girl door down and getting ran over by cars, threatening to kill her. What can we do? He said, have her come see me. And the very next day, that girl was killed. No, not even the very same day. That night, he walked in on FaceTime. While she was on FaceTime in her room, kicked the door in, shot her while on FaceTime. So it's just, you know, I commend you because you pulled away, I think, at the right time. Because if you didn't have the courage or the strength to pull away, Lord knows what kind of conversation we'd be having if we were having one.
Right.
I have somebody that asked, said, was this learned behavior? Did he see his dad or his mom get abused?
Yes.
So my question is, you mentioned several times that you didn't want to tell anybody. Because you weren't ready, because you knew you were going back. I had a good friend of mine who dealt with a domestic violence relationship, and there was some shame in her not sharing with other people.
Right.
Could you talk about that shame?
It does have shame because when you're around certain people and they're like, oh, this would never happen to me, I would never do this, like, it's judgment. So I've been around people where you would hear them, that could never be me, I wish somebody would, I wish this, I wish that. And you may want to say something, but then it's like, you know what, I ain't gonna say nothing because they already over here, you know, shaming and saying what they would never do. Then you don't even know your own family member is over here getting beat down, but they scared to say something because now it's like, oh, you gonna judge me. And it wasn't like, oh, you were gonna help me. What it was is, oh, you stupid. Oh, they stupid if they sit there and let somebody do this. They stupid. And it's like, why do I say something if I'm gonna be pretty much blamed for it? Because you're saying I'm stupid, I'm dumb, oh, I would never let nobody do this. But you don't know what you would do until you're in that situation. You don't know because nobody walks up and say, you know what, I can't wait till this dude just come hit me in my face. Nobody says that. Nobody just wakes up one day like, I just can't wait till I just get in this toxic relationship. No, You don't. But when it's time to, when you do want to speak out, you just can't speak to anybody, because even certain friends I had, they would laugh about the situation. Like, it was funny, like, because you thought it was cute.
Yeah.
Because he hitting you, you think it's cute. So it's like, oh, girl, you'll be all right, girl. He can beat you up when you get home tonight. Like, stuff like that. And it's like, literally, yeah, he is finna beat me up when I get home tonight. Y'all don't even know the half of what I'm finna go through. But it's like, it's a laughing matter. Because at the end of the day, you still gonna be with the dude. You're not gonna leave him. So, like, why?
I'm curious. What? Because obviously there has to be a sense of comfort for you to go back. What comfort, or what was he doing to make you go back? Or was it more so you just didn't want to leave because you didn't know what was next? You were afraid of the future.
Yes, afraid of what was next, but also afraid of what they could do to themselves too. Because, sometimes they're like, well, I'm going to do this to myself if you don't come back, or, things like that. So they put you in that guilt trip.
Yeah.
And then it was fear of, like, okay, so I get back out here, like, what am I going to do? Like, how am I going to start over? Like, it's kind of scary because you used to a certain thing. So it was a fear of starting over, which now I look at it, should have been started over. I shouldn't have started. But you have a fear of, like, okay, what am I going to do? But then also, for me, I dealt with, like, stalker activity too. So it's like, I get out here, they're going to be stalking me. They're going to be following me. So to prevent all of that, let me just try to be his friend. And then, I'm not going to lie too, sometimes you feel like you can help a person. You want to help them. Like, you want them to do right. Like, it's like, okay, maybe if I just be his friend, maybe if, we just do something, get some counseling, get some help, maybe that will help.
Yeah.
Because you think you can help the person, but in reality, you can't. They have to want to help themselves.
I think that also goes to when you have a strong faith in God, you're praying, you think like, God, I know you're going to help this person,
Yes.
fix this person, and you try to stick around to see that end result, and then years pass and it's like, okay, you ain't come through yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that has a lot to do with it too, because you're praying for this person and you're saying, God, please fix them, please fix whatever's broken in them, but in the end you're getting the abuse behind it.
Right. And God can be like, get up out of there. But you blinded. And I can honestly say, you get blinded. You are so blinded that you're not really, like, it ain't, like, for me, I would say I wasn't even myself.
And we're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we have some more with Ashley, the author of the new book, Abused But Not Broken, right here on the Plug Radio Network. Stay tuned.
I cannot believe that you would say that. You were feeling like not yourself. You was always the it girl.
But I just did. I know, but I didn't.
She was always the it girl. So to even hear her say like I didn't feel pretty, like everybody loved Ashley.
They did, but I just didn't see
But
it.
can I tell you this? Because I find that with a lot of women, like, they have this persona that everybody else sees, but they don't see. You hit the nail on the head. You look in the mirror and see what God sees. You look at yourself
Right.
differently. It don't matter what man sees. Clearly, the man tells me he sees one thing, but I got, even though I got 50 other people telling you beautiful, but the man that I love, he sees so
Yeah.
and unlock a world of possibilities.
Or it's like you get bypassed, like growing up, and I guess that's what happened for me. Growing up was
brought to you by Autism
everybody got picked, and I was the last person that was picked because you like a kid, you like a little girl, you don't look, and I'm like, okay, so I was always last. Like nobody just was like, oh, I like her. It was just always bypassed. So like I had to dress a little different. I had to put on a little lipstick, like do certain things differently to get noticed. And it was like, cause you like the little nerdy girl, nobody don't pay you no mind or whatever. So for me, that's kind of probably what it was too. So I was starting to see myself as like, well, dang, I'm just a little nerdy girl. Nobody don't really want me. And if they did, it was like I was the last person picked. So when you last, you just feel like nothing.
That's the thing that bothers me about high school people, right? Oh, this girl is nerdy. Let me tell you something. That girl that's nerdy or